Hello and welcome to our project. You are listening to Michael Safwat. In our project, we are going to discuss about the difference between the multi-level queue scheduling and multi-level feedback queue. So first of all, let's start with the multi-level queue scheduling. Firstly, all of the processes that our computer has to handle are grouped together in a queue. Every queue has a degree of priority, and they are arranged from the highest priority to the lowest priority. And the CPU handles the queue with the higher priority first, then the lower ones, with each process that they contain. And processes in each queue are handled according to the algorithm that the implementer has implemented to each queue. For example, the round robin, and the first come first served, and the shortest job first, and etc. So for example, when the CPU is handling process in a queue with a first come first served algorithm, the CPU will handle the first process that entered the queue, then the ones that followed it in order. But there is a hidden problem in this. While the CPU is handling the processes and getting to the lower priority queues, if a process enter a higher priority queue, the CPU will ignore the current process that has its turn and will handle the higher priority one. And if this happens multiple times, this can cause an issue called starvation. And to solve this problem, a method called aging has been developed, and it's in the multi-level feedback queue, in which the priority of a process can be raised in order to prevent starvation from happening. So now let's talk about the multi-level feedback queue. So as we mentioned, there's a process called the aging that's in the multi-level feedback queue. This is used to raise the priority of a certain process to prevent starvation from happening. But not only this, you can also lower the priority of a certain process to a lower priority. So for example, as follows in the following figure in front of you, let's say that a process enters the highest queue of priority, and let's say it has a 25 of burst time, and the first queue has a quantum of 8, as it shows in the figure. Then it will be executed 8 unit times in this following queue. Then it will be demoted to the lower queue, which also has 16 quantum. And there it will be executed for 16 units of time. Then we will be left with 1. And then it will demote again to the lower queue that has the first come first served algorithm to be terminated in this queue. And let's say we had another process enter the highest priority queue, and it had a burst time of 24. So after it has been executed for 8 unit times in the first queue, it will be demoted to the next queue, the lower one, and then it will be executed for 16 unit times to be terminated there. And in the end, it all depends on the implementer and how he's gonna implement the algorithms and what algorithms he's going to use, and that's about it. Thank you for watching. I hope I've made it clear the differences between the multi-level queue scheduling and the multi-level feedback queue.